Currently at Mathis Field, it feels nice outside. 74 degrees with a pleasantly dry dew point in the mid-50s. Winds out of the south at 15. And that's going to bring temperatures down slightly for Monday. Monday's still looking like a pretty decent day. Big picture showing you this dry line that's setting up across west central Texas, extending to the north. Not until early next work week we have a chance for precipitation. 10% chance on Monday, 20% chance on Monday night, and then up to a 30% chance right now on Tuesday as a rigorous mid-level low attempts to build 49 right now in Lubbock, already 40 in Amarillo. Out ahead of it, it's not so bad. In fact, here in San Angelo, 70 degrees. Wind came in behind last night's cold front and really set the stage for a cooler day. Right now in San Angelo, we're 20 degrees cooler versus the same colder, and it's not just cold air, it's also wind for tomorrow. Wind chills between 15 and 30 degrees during the middle of the day tomorrow. So you're really going to want to bundle up. 30% chance for showers and storms, 64 tomorrow. You're going to notice the cooler weather. We've been in the 80s pretty much all as this front, pictured right here, moves through Tuesday night, clouds build back in, brings with it the best chance for rain we've seen over the last several days, a 60% chance today off of South Jackson Street here in San Angelo for this week's edition of Winning with the Weather. In my hand is the winner of an outdoor wood-burning fire model produces a front in the middle of the country. If that ends up being true, the rain chances will miss us to the north. Tonight, we've got that classic recipe for a lot of radiational cooling, and that means we've got clear skies, light winds, and a dry atmosphere, and when that happens, you tend to see temperatures drop below average. And thanks for joining us here on KSAN News at 10. We are tracking a strong cold front pushing south across Texas this evening, and you can see the dramatic fall off in temperatures behind this thing. 49 right now in Lubbock, already 40 in Amarillo. Out ahead of it, it's not so bad. In fact, here in San Angelo, 70 degrees. Behind the front, it's not just cooler air. There's a lot of wind. Take a look at these wind gusts. 53 miles per hour in Amarillo, 49 in Lubbock, even 38 miles per hour being reported in Abilene. Here in San Angelo, not bad, 8 miles an hour, but that will change. We're going to be enveloped by this very windy air mass as we go into later on tonight and even extending into the first several hours of tomorrow. We're still going to see some pretty strong winds digging in from the north behind the cold front. The National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory all the way through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Winds will subside as we go through the first half of the day tomorrow, but even Wednesday afternoon, gusts up to 25 miles per hour will be possible. Currently, we are mild. 59 in Azona, 71 in Junction, 75 degrees at 10 p.m. in Brady. It is amazingly mild out across the eastern part of the viewing area, and Sterling City right now reporting 64. Nowhere do we see winds really that bad. 12 miles an hour there in Sterling City from the west. That's the peak wind. Today we got up to 90 degrees. That's as warm as we've been so far this year. 51 degrees the low this morning, just a little bit above the normal of 43. Still very dry, 0.08 inches since January 1st. And this cold front is not going to be bringing precipitation, just cold air and just a lot of wind. 2.84 the normal today. Let's move on to your weather headlines, where the top headline is not really a surprise. Very strong winds expected through tonight, and with how dry it has been recently, blowing dust will be a factor. I don't think we're going to see visibilities drop to a quarter mile or less, but the air is going to get dirty late tonight. Much cooler for Wednesday afternoon. Today, again, we saw that high of 90. Tomorrow, we're looking at high temperatures closer to the 50s, and then rain chances are pretty limited throughout the 7-day forecast, not just over the next 24 hours in association with this front. You can see it right there moving in from the north. We've got high pressure pushing in behind it, and the reason why it is so windy is we've got a strong area of low pressure here, a strong area of high pressure here, and that makes the pressure differential between the two rather great. And when you increase that differential between the low and the high, you tend to find very strong winds in between, and that's exactly what's happening for us tonight into tomorrow. Regional satellite and radar showing here on the local scale, not much going on. The front is right through here, and yet it's mainly clear. A little bit of dust at the surface, but in terms of clouds, it's just not happening with this front. Over the next 7 days, there's a small chance for rain as we go into Saturday night as well as Sunday, a 10% chance, but most of the computer model data trending dry, just because the upper level energy is just out of place to support precipitation. But there is one model that is yielding a chance for rain, and it's yielding quite a bit, about a ½ inch to an inch. And with as dry as it's been, you know, we got to hold on to a little bit of hope. So I'll acknowledge it with a 10% chance, but don't bet on it. It is a very small chance at this point. 41 degrees, your low temperature tonight. Wind, again, the top concern, blowing dust, gusts up to 45 miles an hour. Those winds will be shifting out of the north behind the cold front. Tomorrow, high pressure slides in, and with that northerly wind continuing, it's going to be a much cooler day. 58 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Winds gusting up to 35 in the morning. By the afternoon, winds will be gusting up to 25, so not as strong then. Wednesday night, down to 30 degrees. freeze. We're going to dip back below freezing briefly and then rise back up to a seasonable 66 Thursday afternoon. Winds a non-factor. Out of the south at 5 to 15, gusting to 20. For the late week, area of low pressure over northern Texas, really not going to bring us rain. On the south side of that low, there will be wind. So Friday is forecasted to be breezy. By the way, check us out online, ContraValleyHomepage.com, also Facebook.com/KSAN weather. 76 to go with those breezy conditions on Friday, 75 on Saturday, and then another cold front bringing us down into the 60s next Sunday with that 10% chance for rainfall. That's your KSAN forecast update. And as hopes remain high for rain, I analyzed this upcoming winter's potential El Nino and the impact it could have on how much precipitation we'll receive over the next few months. In West Texas, where dry days have outnumbered wet days by nearly 6 to 1 this year, reservoirs have had very limited opportunity to break out from historically low levels. A recent drought monitor map from mid-November indicates a continued abnormally dry pattern across the Concho Valley and areas further south. So what does the upcoming winter have in store? NOAA's recently issued winter outlook indicates an expansive area of favorable chances for above average precipitation across the southern United States. The AccuWeather winter outlook generally mimics this sentiment with, again, a wet area of weather throughout the southern U.S. Both of these forecasts include the Concho Valley as an area primed for above average precipitation during the cold months ahead. With those forecasts in mind, take a look at the portion of North America that tends to be wetter than average during a winter El Nino event. It's not a coincidence that the region of above average precipitation during a winter El Nino aligns itself almost perfectly with the winter outlooks issued by AccuWeather and NOAA. I sat down with Steve Lyons, the meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service in San Angelo, to discuss the likelihood of an El Nino this winter.
Right now, the Climate Prediction Center in Washington is predicting an El Nino. We're in an El Nino watch. It's forecasting a weak El Nino. Now, it's still very weak, and it hasn't occurred yet. So it's still a possibility. It never unfolds completely, but we should expect a weak El Nino to start showing up here very soon.
El Nino is defined as the presence of above normal sea surface temperatures in the eastern and central Pacific Ocean near the equator. However, not all El Ninos are created equal. If the sea surface temperature anomaly is between 0.5 and 0.9 degrees Celsius, the El Nino event is considered to be weak. And if the anomaly reaches or exceeds 1.5 degrees Celsius, the El Nino event is considered strong. Why does this matter? Here's a look at precipitation tendencies during the winter months, broken down by weak, moderate, and strong El Nino events. You'll notice we only have a wetter than normal signature during moderate and strong El Ninos. There is no indication we'll see above or below normal precipitation in west central Texas when the El Nino is weak. So if El Nino does manage to develop this winter, will it be strong enough to justify an above average precipitation forecast for the Concho Valley? The short answer is probably not. A look at various model predictions for the sea surface temperature anomaly shows that only a few models expect the El Nino to reach moderate intensity, while the majority of the data points to a weak El Nino or no El Nino at all. Local weather patterns are driven by much more than El Nino, so there's still a legitimate chance we will experience a wetter than normal winter. However, without an El Nino signal we can invest confidence into, it's just as plausible precipitation totals will be near normal or below normal this winter. Matt Madigan, KSAN News.
Well, although we were fortunate to get some rainfall this past week, we are still below normal.
We are. We're about 4 inches below normal for the year, but that can be a little bit of a misnomer because we were so dry leading up to mid to late May. If you start the time from mid to late May to now, we're actually near normal. And so we're getting closer and closer to coming out of the drought. We're actually not even officially in the drought in San Angelo, but parts of the northern Edwards Plateau and the Northwest Hill Country are still in a moderate drought, so we still need that moisture.
All right, so we'll keep our fingers crossed for some more moisture in the near future. Thank you, Matt. We'll be right back.